Hello everyone, welcome to our first episode of Sisterhood of the Magical Blade. I am Simon at Wandering DM. I'll be GMing this game, which, by the way, we are all learning at the same time. So we've gone over the rules before when we created our characters and everything. That was a while back. So if we take a little while during this episode, it's only because this is an unfamiliar system and we are all learning. Before we introduce the cast for this show, I would just like to thank our sponsors very quickly. Mage Press, makers of 5th edition D&D supplements. Check them out at store.mageandpress.com. Use code WanderingDM to get 15% off your purchases. Our other sponsor is, of course, Found Familiar Coffee Company. They make... Oh, I still have coffee. They make great coffee. And you should definitely check them out at foundfamiliar.com and use code WanderingDM if you want to get 10% off your order. We also have the virtual tabletop that we're playing on at the moment, Roll20, which is the window that you see right up there. This is all done on Roll20, so whatever you see there is from the virtual tabletop. So thank you to Roll20. Check them out at roll20.net. And lastly, our partners through the Diceomancy program, we have, of course, Level Up Dice. If you want some very shiny dice, maybe to go with your very shiny magical girl that you're all about to create following this show, because this is going to be epic, check out Level Up Dice with either the purple torch down below or the link in chat. That said, let's introduce the cast. Can you tell us, please, who are you? Who are you playing? And in a line or so, a sentence or so, what's your concept? We'll begin with Deirdre on the overlay, and then we'll go clockwise, finishing with Rin. So, Deirdre, who are you? Who are you playing?
Oh, hey, y'all. You know me. I'm at Deirdre London on Twitter, or Praxor Thesmia4 is see me around on Twitch. And I'm playing MALEIA HIKO. She is half Japanese, half Hawaiian, Polynesian, and she has some complicated family history involving swords and ninjas. But she'd really just rather be surfing, y'all. It's a lot more fun.
Kika, who are you? Who are you playing?
Hi, I'm Kika View on Twitter. I am playing YUKIMURA KYOKO, the trans girl, magical girl idol with sword.
Very quickly, I will hop on to say I'm also playing Tatsu, the fox, who's the manager of YUKIMURA.
Oh, I'm so excited to meet Tatsu.
And Lily.
Oh, that's me. Hey, I'm Lily Sparks. I'm the girl with many lives. You can catch me streaming basically every day of the week on Twitch, and you can find my stream schedule in my bio on Twitter. I'm still getting used to the intro, don't mind me. So yeah, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Lily Sparks with an X, and keep playing games and having adventures. I'm excited for this adventure.
And who are you playing?
Oh, yes, I am playing Kira Baksuki, also known as KK. And a brief description of KK would be the cool girl who's really cool but doesn't want to be cool and just wants to play with her sword.
And lastly, Rin.
Yeah, okay. Hey, I'm Ren, at Heaven's Night on Twitter, or Burns Through the Rain in the Twitch chat. I'm playing Hayashida Tomomi, or Tomo for short. One-liner. She's dark, mysterious, and brooding.
Noise.
Yeah, pretty much. But she's soft on the inside.
And why don't we jump into our first episode? Just like that. I need to get my notes out. Alright. Just like the intro mentioned, so we are playing in a near future, in a world where creatures of myth and legends called daemons entered the world a few years ago. Basically, we are in 2046. The daemons came out of portals in 2020. It took a while. The government set up a rehabilitation program that basically sought to introduce these people into society and give them the same rights as humans. That was met with some degree of success. Unfortunately, along with them came the Oni, creatures that just as magical and fantastical as the daemons, but these Onis sought to hunt down the daemons and even humans sometimes. And in 2026, Oni disappeared from the world, just vanished without a trace. One thing that needs to be said is that Oni can only be hurt by either material weapons that existed in the lands they come from, or magic, which the daemons have slowly taught humans how to weave. We're playing in a place called the City, located on an island called the Island, because I have a lot of imagination. It's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, between Hawaii and Japan. It is an island that is man-made, and it's been built to house both daemons and humans living together in harmony. It is a sovereign nation, and it is where we're gonna have our adventure. So I have 4 scenes that I've chosen the order of them at random to introduce your characters. So we're going to move... Oh no. Oh, please roll 20. Don't do this to me.
We're getting a red alert.
Yep, but it seems the game works anyway.
Hey.
You should probably hear the music playing. Might be a tiny bit too loud on my end. But we're in a dojo. And the first person we're going to meet is KK.
My music's not loaded, but I'll try and imagine it.
Okay. KK, because you are in this scene, and it is something that I will ask everyone over the course of the adventure, over the course of our sessions together, whenever you're in a scene, just go into your handouts where your character sheet is, click on your name, and drag it on the map.
Okay. Roll20 is loading, and this is happening.
It's okay. Yeah, we had for everyone watching, we just had an error message pop up from Roll20.
Okay, so I go into my character sheet, I click on my name, and I drag it onto the map. It's not doing anything.
Not in the sheet, in the menu on the right-hand side.
Oh.
Where you see like your name with a tiny portrait of you.
Mm-hmm.
If you just click on your name,
mm-hmm.
and then drag that onto the window, it should work.
Aha! Yay!
I don't see it.
Oh, it just popped up like a million of them.
Oh,
for me.
There we go. Whoa!
I got rid of them all. It's good. It's good. There's only one of me. Don't worry.
There's just a little lag. So yeah, whenever you are in a scene, just like in a visual novel, we're gonna add your portrait to the scene itself. And we'll do the same with major NPCs so that everyone can know who's in it or not. So right now we don't have any major NPCs. The scene that we see is this dojo, just like we see on screen right now. Wooden floors, wooden paneling, and rice paper walls at the top with scrolls and plates of wood with kanjis written on them, the motos of the dojo. In the center of a crowd of 12 stands a woman with green hair. What does she look like? What does KK look like as she is being surrounded by 12 other students ready to spar with her today?
So KK looks, true to her description, very cool. She's very composed. She's standing stock straight with her arm out and like a katana just in her hand, like a perfect straight line. Her arm doesn't shake at all as she holds it. She has long dark green hair that's almost black, that's tied up into kind of like a half ponytail like this. She's 5'8" and slender, but moves with someone who has a very like strong muscular tone. I don't know what that looks like. You imagine it based on my words.
All right, and around you, dressed in their uniform, are these 12 people. 8 guys and 4 girls, presenting anyway, with, the wooden katanas, buckens. And they're all in their fighting stance, ready to strike at you. The silence is tense. You could hear a heartbeat. And then one of them in front of you raises his bucket high and goes, "Ah!" and charges at you. What do you do?
I would like to, as they're charging at me, I will wait until the last possible second, then go into kind of like a half split as I crouch down on the ground and taking my fully sharpened bladed katana, I want to like shear off the bottom of the bucken as they go by me.
That would be, and we'll go with, for this instance, instead of going like full narrative, we're going to play a bit with the rules. That's a... I need to get that sheet out.
Would I roll my katana?
Yeah, that would be a katana attack roll.
Sweet. I did that.
Okay, so the way it works in OVA is you have to take either the highest number that you've rolled. We don't have the dice on the overlay right now, so we're going to have to call out our total as we play. But you have a choice right now because you rolled 3 1s, 2 2s, and a 6. Whenever you have doubles or triples, you can add them together and pick that instead.
Like add all of the doubles and triples together?
Those are the
just
same.
all the ones,
all the
and
ones,
all
all
the
the
twos.
2s together,
Okay.
and yeah.
Yeah.
So
But
right
I
now,
have a 6. So
yeah.
I would probably go with that instead of having the 3 1s would be a 3 or the 2 2s would be a 4.
Exactly.
And 6 is the highest out of those numbers.
All right. That person will roll to defend. And rolls a 2 and a 3, so they're going to take the 3. Which means you beat that number. 6 is higher than 3. Now to go into damage, you see there's a thing called DX.
Yeah.
It's right next to either on your sheet or where you rolled on roll 20. So basically you take your attack roll, and that goes for everyone. You take your attack roll minus the defense roll times the DX.
Okay, so my attack roll was 6 minus the defense roll, which was 3. So that's 3 times my DX.
Yeah, so times 2.
Times 2 is 6.
Yeah, so you would deal 6 points of damage.
Sweet.
And that's how combat works. We're not going to roll that for every of the 12-person people fighting you, but as the first one comes in to strike at you, you go into your half split, shear off the end of the buck, and the other person keeps tumbling, rolling, and then 2 more lunge at you from each side. What do you do?
Oh, just like without even batting an eye or brushing the hair out of her face, she's gonna still be crouched in her half split, but pivot around on her ankle and just like chop off the top of their weapons too.
You see 2. The camera just shows like 2 bits of buckens go flying out, as you hear off camera the sounds of other people huffing and puffing and fighting. It takes a few seconds more for the rest to gain enough courage to charge at you, all of them at once. Does anyone manage to put a hit on you, to actually physically touch you? Like, not necessarily hurt or harm you, but like, does one of them at least gets a hit in? Or not at all?
I'm gonna say with this level of student that I'd be working with, it'd be like one of those things where they always come close, but then like my blade just gets in at the last second. And as she's fighting her way through the rest of her opponents, she's just very calmly stating, "If you will not be better, you will never defeat me." And just like going through the series of motions. And she says, "It's not just about blunt attacks. Ha, ha, ha. See how I'm using a sharp blade? It's about control." And then I bring it down and, you know, cut someone's like tunic right down the middle without actually cutting them.
And it just
yeah.
By the end, there's like a pile of exhausted people in a corner, broken weapons everywhere, a half-naked student with, you know, the top half of their uniform fallen. He just looks at you scared, picks up his, like, both halves of his shirt, and just leaves slowly and awkwardly. There's no sensei present at the dojo today. It's just you know, sparring lesson between the students. We are on a weekend, and so it's just open door for like anyone who would like to come and everything. And you hear a knock at the door.
I look at one of the students until they go and open it.
They scramble, go to the door, open the door of the dojo. There's a small courtyard before it leads on to like the main street and everything, so that there's a bit of privacy even on the outside of the dojo, a bit of serenity in the bustling city that is the city. There stands a rather nerdy-looking, lanky gentleman with big round glasses, a lollipop in his mouth, dressed like a 9-to-5 white-collar worker. A white shirt tucked into beige pants, a red tie tied a little too tight around the neck, big black frame around the glasses, of course, to just accentuate the fact that, wow. And pens in his shirt pocket, one of which has started to leak. And he's carrying a small duffel bag with a katana. And he looks at the place and he says, "Is this... I come for a lesson? Is this the place?"
I like pull a handkerchief. My shirt doesn't have a pocket in it, but I somehow pull out a handkerchief from it and sort of toss it in the direction. And I imagine it doesn't get very far. It just sort of flutters halfway between us. And I kind of dart my eyes over to him and just say, "Your shirt is leaking."
My shirt is... Oh no. He bends over, picks up. As he does, the weight of the duffel bag is too much and he just topples over. No coordination whatsoever.
I turn to the students and I say, "Let it always be remembered that when you enter a dojo, you do so with respect and with a clean shirt. You say you're here for a lesson, let that be your first."
I don't have a... I have a t-shirt that I can wear.
Yes. Change rooms are outside. Go ahead, and when you come back, you will be properly attired, and we will discuss your lessons.
And he goes into the changing room, takes a few moments. When he comes out, he's dressed with what are they called again? Hakama pants and a t-shirt. Like, just weird clash of two things. And the t-shirt has a big logo on it. And a face of a blue-haired girl. And as the camera focuses on the shirt and Yukimura's face, we can hear music in the background. As we shift over to the park, where Yukimura is holding a private concert. Yuki, how big is the crowd at this concert?
It's probably not huge. I mean, it's not like tiny. There are like probably maybe like 30, 40 people there. But she's not very big time. She's still trying to get established. But yeah, it's around there. I keep say anything. I keep saying words. I'm nervous.
That's okay. You are on a stage singing your, number one single at the moment. And everyone in the crowd is cheering. There's not a whole lot, like you said, 30, 40 people. Some of them are sitting on the grass. Others are standing up. There's this one lone person who's like flailing about, trying to dance off in the distance. They seem to be having a very good time. There's a few people walking their dogs in down a pathway that have stopped and are just watching from afar what's going on. Behind the stage, as this is happening, Tatsu is running around trying to keep the consoles working properly and the sound levels right and everything okay. And he's basically doing the whole bit of a roadie and a manager at the same time, and a sound engineer. But everything sounds perfect. People are having fun. You end your single. Would people ask for a repeat performance?
Yes. I rolled the dice to check.
Alright. Then there's a repeat of the same song again. And of a new one that you've been working on that you're, testing the waters with this crowd. And it seems to be a rousing success. You notice as you end and you bow in front of the crowd, 4 young girls at the front, all wearing your merch, your t-shirt, your light sticks, and they're just screaming, "Yuki, we love you!"
Yukimura just sort of blushes and waves awkwardly and reaches into her pocket, and she probably has some she's probably been secretly practicing guitar even though she's terrible at it, and she takes out some guitar picks from her pocket and throws it to them.
One of them gets a guitar pick stuck on her forehead, and she immediately faints from just sheer excitement. You would know that after this performance, there's a little VIP meet and greet thing that Tatsu has organized. Of course, it's down in the park. It's in a gazebo nearby. Nothing too fancy. But for those people who would have liked to meet the sensation that is Yukimura KYOKO, that's been set up. As you come backstage, the little fox jumps down from a console and looks at you and says, "Hey, that was great."
I thought it was a little flat. on the second chorus of the last song, but it went.
Uh-oh. Sorry, it went what? Zoom decided to freeze.
Oh, yeah, I think it went well. All things considered, I don't think anyone noticed.
Oh, no. I think everything was great. You're gonna have your meet and greet. Do you need food? I have half a Starbucks and a scone over there.
Do you have any sardines?
Blink, blink, blink. I can get some delivered.
That would be a bit much. You don't need to go to any trouble to have anything delivered. Thank you. I'll be fine.
Anything for my number one musician. Come on, sardines. I'm gonna go get that. You,
Aren't I your only musician?
And I'm off. And he just jumps off and starts running, scampering away. Wallet in his mouth. Because you have to think, Tatsu is an actual fox, not a fox person. It's four-legged animal. Do you go meet your fans? Or do you wait for him to come back?
I have to go meet my fans.
There is of the whole crowd that was at your show, there's maybe like 2 people that didn't show up. They're surrounding the gazebo, waiting politely for you to call them one by one and either sign something or talk to them. There's a little microphone with a speaker next to you, so if you want to talk to them, you don't have to shout and strain your voice or anything. And you notice one of them in the crowd is a journalist. They wear the traditional fedora with the little paper on the side, dressed with a Hawaiian patterned shirt and cargo shorts, and Lusai, and Lusai. And they raise their hand.
For some reason, my brain just immediately went, I've covered wars,
It sort of sounds like that, but they raise their hand and they're like...
Does he look like Kojak? Can it please look like Kojak in Hawaiian shirt?
I didn't have Kojak in mind, but sure.
Yes, sir?
Miss Kyoko, I have a question for you.
I mean, I should hope so, given that you are raising your hand.
Luke Vista from the City Star. Is it true, Miss Kyoko, that you are secretly a monster?
What? What would give you that idea?
And he walks through the crowd and approaches you. And
please wait in line, sir. There are other people ahead of you.
And you can hear him, like, despite the distance, like, he just mutters under his breath, and he's like, the Oni have not disappeared. What do you know? And his glasses flash with the white.
He's like very, very visibly like nervous and feeling very overwhelmed and like sweating a bit. And she like puts her hand over the mic, just like, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. If you have more questions, you can direct them to my manager when he gets here. But there are a lot of my fans waiting, and if you hold up, they'll get very upset, and I don't want my fans to get upset.
Maybe we should pick that back up in a private interview, Miss Kyoko. What do you think?
I think that is a question for my manager.
And he walks back into the crowd. And you can see him, he's like visibly vexed. Both because you denied him like the private interview, and also because you refused to give any hint of what he was going on about. Your fans could not care less about him. The moment he's disappeared in the crowd, someone else comes forward, raises their hands, and they're like, Miss Kyoko, Miss Kyoko!
Yes? You over there?
Is it true that you're gonna have a big concert in less than a year at the, name big venue?
Well, we haven't made any formal announcements, but if you all can keep a secret, I can let you all know that plans are in the works. So if you all are, I would appreciate it if you would all come and support me and see me perform there. I don't know when tickets would be on sale, but if you follow me on the website or join the mailing list, you'll be the first to know.
Miss Kyoko, I have a question.
Yes, you over there in the pink shirt?
Do I have to give you my real address or my email address for the mailing list?
Oh, your email address. It's all online.
Okay. And you would hear from a speakerphone nearby the voice of Tatsu just going, Alright, merch is up, everyone. Line up, merch is up. Buy all the merch. Buy it all. I don't want to bring it back home. Buy it. And a few people from the crowd, like the crowd splits in half with some of them going. The four fans, like the four girls that were at the front, are still around the gazebo, just staring at you, hearts in their eyes. Silent, though.
Hello, did you four have any questions for me? Did you want me to sign anything? I have a pen. I brought one special for this.
Spoke to me?
Yeah, I spoke to all four of you. You're right there. Do you need something signed?
And we will move the panda camera elsewhere as this high-pitched scream breaks the glass of anything around. And we move on. Which one is that? The beach. Two seconds. Maleia. You are currently surfing the waves around the island. There's a few people on the beach. Both tourists just taking in some sun. Others going for a surf. There's a few people on jet boats. Wow, that music cut off short.
Loop it.
Well, I think... Would you rather I loop all the songs?
I mean, I'm here for it.
I'm
Alright.
here
I like
for
them.
it. Loop them.
Yeah.
Loop them all.
Alright, they're gonna all be looped from now on.
Yay.
Yay.
You're surfing the waves. Oh, I forgot to ask that of Yuki. What does Yuki look like? We'll get back to MALEIA after.
Gosh, I forgot my character's height. But she is she has like sky blue hair and then like a hime cut, you know, like bangs here and then like cut on the sides and then long in the back. She wears like a sleeveless dress with like sort of like ribbon, like a white ribbon in the front, and like clasp, like held on with like a blue gemstone clasp. And she wears long gloves and boots.
And now, sorry about that, we're gonna go back to MALEIA. I completely forgot to ask for description. What does MALEIA look like as she's surfing the waves around the island?
MALEIA is 5'8", and she's cresting, making a nice break, hitting the green zone. Beautiful longboard, traditional style Hawaiian longboard. It's actually was her mother's and she inherited. She is half Japanese and half Native Hawaiian, so she's a little bit that mix of Polynesian and Japanese. And if you want a face claim, you should look up Alea Marzoff, because she is fabulous. But she is wearing a bright blue hibiscus flower and blue and white hibiscus flower sleeved with a black chest rash guard with shorts on where she's surfing, and her hair is along almost to the middle of her back, dark black and brown, very straight, and right now it's very flat because it's covered in salt water, and she has very bright piercing amethyst eyes that kind of take in a lot more than just, the beach scene and the surf that the tourists that she's seeing.
You would see, actually, with your amethyst eyes, that there's someone following you along the waves. A 40-some-odd years old bearded man wearing a wetsuit, and he moves his board closer to you and just looks at you and says, "MALEIA HIKO?"
Possibly.
Where is the sword?
None of your business. And she's going to do the rudest thing you can possibly do in surfing and kick out and knock his board off. Don't actually do this at home, folks.
As you kick the board out of under him, he somersaults onto yours, barely making a dent in your balance. But he says, the Ishin Shishi want that sword back.
Sucks to be them, not theirs.
And he lunges.
Where'd you get off my board?
He lunges to punch you.
I think she'll just kind of drop down all the way flat on the board and then kind of push out, try and kick him off it. Do a leg sweep underneath.
You sweep his leg as you drop down and he falls into the water and you can barely hear him. "I'll be back. I know you're on this island. You can't you can't hide forever." And him and his board would wash out on the beach farther away.
Be careful of the sharks. And she just kind of it's not the first time, it's not gonna be the last. But she'd probably come in at that point.
As you
Water.
you approach the beach, you notice little ice cubes in the water. Ice cubes that don't melt.
Okay, that's weird. It's like
oh yeah.
It's like 85 degrees and the water temperature is like 87, 88. They should be melting.
They should. And yet they don't. From the beach, we'll pan the camera to an alley in the city. As a cloaked individual wearing a just like ragtag blanket runs huffing down the streets. Someone pursuing him relentlessly. Tomomi, could you put your character on the overlay? What does Tomomi look like as she's pursuing this renegade Oni?
She is probably in her hunting clothes, so she's pretty much dressed from head to toe in black. Clothes that are, made so she can move around quick and not get stuck anywhere. She has a hood and she has a piece of cloth up over her nose so that all they can see are her eyes, which are red.
Of course, the alley that this Oni took ended up being a dead end. And they turn back to you and look at you. And they say, oh,
sorry. No, go.
You think you've got me cornered. I will not go without a fight. And they throw the cloak in the air, and what you notice underneath it is not a person. Well, kind of. It is a 12 feet tall skeleton. Its bones yellowed, tiny red eyes. And they take the top of a trash can nearby and fling it at you like a frisbee. What do you do?
I duck. I'll dodge out of the way and I'll I'll slice my finger open and pull up, draw my blood sword.
Out of your finger comes out this elongated red sword that drips constantly. You make a few moves and charge at the skeleton. It tries to block your blow with its hand, but you slice through it like it was butter. The rest of the arm melting like wax. The skeleton looks at you and says, "Ha! That's just a flesh wound, and I don't even have flesh." And he goes to strike at you again, this time trying to stomp you down with its foot. What do you do?
I'll tumble to the side, and I imagine there's enough of my. I'm trying to remember how I wanted to do this. Oh well. So I'll take my sword, and I'll do the move as if I was whipping my sword towards them, but instead of the sword, it's just my blood that splashes across them. And I snap my fingers, and it blows up and turns into fire.
Yeah, it gets the blood across it, looks at you and says, "Ha! You're gonna make me dirty? And then the blood just explodes like... And the skeleton just goes, ah, fuck! And dies as it crumbles into a pile of bones. Another Oni down for the count. You dismiss your magical sword. And, as you look up in the sky, there's snow that begins to fall.
That's weird.
We'll cut to a few days later, some undetermined amount of time later. We're in the middle of May. There are snowbanks on the streets. We see a shot of the city with a snowplow just going through, clearing the streets. Let me just switch to streets. It's very different music, but that's what we see. There's gentle snow falling all around the island. The water surrounding the island itself is frozen solid. Boats are stuck in the harbor. The news are all talking about this weird phenomena that's been happening, this weird weather pattern that should potentially blow over. We see a person, brown hair, male, wearing a blue turtleneck, walking home with a paper bag full of groceries. There's a baguette in it because there has to be, and like greens and whatever. And they hear a sound from an alley. And they stop and go, oh. Look into the alley. Is there a problem? And as they go inside, past the view, deep into the shadows, you just hear them say, ah! No! What are you? No! Ah! And a snowman emerges from the alley and just starts shambling away in the streets. I would like to know, all four of you, ever since this mysterious snow has been falling, what have you been up to? How has this changed your daily routine?
Well, I'll just go ahead and say that KK is not affected by this whatsoever, has noticed that it is snowing, but still maintains a very strict, 9 to 9 training schedule, training and teaching, because sometimes she also has to do that. But yeah, just a bunch of snowboard fights. They don't even have windows in the dojo, Is it colder?
Muted. Yes, it is. But not that much colder. Not that much. If it was 85 degrees, it probably went down to 50.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she'd probably work that into her, I don't want to call them teachings. I'm going to call them things that she yells. It's a little colder, so you have to warm up your muscles more. Make sure you stretch out that calf. Make sure you stretch out that hamstring. Get ourselves limbered. Get warmed up. Let's go.
One of your student has a large icicle coming down their nose.
You're not stretching hard enough.
But Miss Baxiki, we're freezing.
So that is why I'm telling you to stretch. you should be able to do this. And she'll do one of those like wild like anime moves of like bending her leg behind her head in some ridiculous way. That's how you get warm.
One of them tries, and you hear just crack.
I didn't say to do it.
Fall down, whimpering in pain.
I'll like anime slide behind them and just like head shake.
They're still on the ground shaking, like, ow. New person. I don't know which nickname you've given them, but Nerdy Boy T-shirt shows up again. He didn't come in between the last time and this time, and you were pretty sure that this was a one-off thing. And this time he shows up dressed in a big parka and like drags Snow inside the dojo.
I imagine this happens as I have the kid that's riding on the ground. I'm going to pat that guy on the head and say, just keep stretching. And I will do a big anime step, and you know, one of those like step and like slides over right in front of this. And how tall is this guy?
Not really tall. Let's say like 5'5".
Okay, perfect. So I'm like a little bit taller than him, and I just like stand very, very straight and just stare down at him. And I would like to try and control emotions, because why not?
Ooh. Alright, so let's... I just need a refresher for control emotions, and...
Me too.
We're in the dojo now, so let's go back to that. KK. Control emotions. Target's will doesn't do any damage, lasts 4 rounds. Okay, so it's made as an attack. So you would roll basically click on the like D20 button next to control emotions. And that has everything like factored in.
So I would take 6 being the highest, because I don't have any doubles or triples. So I would just go with the highest?
Yep, exactly. And it costs you 5 endurance.
Cool.
Endurance is next to your hit points. It's like your magic points or whatever you want to call it. He got a 4. So you succeed. What kind of emotions do you want to have him impress upon him?
Fear and discipline. Discipline's not an emotion, but discipline through fear. You know what I want.
Yeah, he falls down on all 4 and says, "Sorry, Sensei Baksuki, sorry. I was so excited."
What did we talk about last time?
Respect! I'm wearing my uniform, and he unzips the parka and shows like the uniform under.
You have brought snow onto these wooden floors. Do you know what snow does to wood floors?
My apartment is carpeted wall to wall.
I'm just gonna take a foot, and I'm just gonna like, if he's still on the ground kneeling, just like push him out of the dojo and like slam the screen behind him. I can't really slam it probably, but you know.
Yeah, well, it's a like sliding door.
Yeah, so.
And you just hear him say, "I used your teachings, and I saved person from a snowman."
That is good. Just get the snow off your feet, then you can come in and tell me, and I will praise you properly for your actions.
Ooh, praise. And you just hear behind the door, like, the sound of zippers, boots being taken off, shuffling, and he comes back in wearing, like, the uniform. But you notice there's, like, a weird blue pattern on his chest. Like ice that formed. Yes.
Have you noticed there's a weird blue pattern, like ice, on your chest?
Oh, the snowman got to me. He punched me hard.
Snowman?
Yes, I've been trying to do good. Following what you've taught me, I aim to become a protector of the city.
Is your name Adam?
Who?
Isn't that your character's
Yeah, I
name in
know, but
Hellbreaker?
he goes, who?
I say, never mind. Never mind. I commend you for saving citizens and upholding the standard and respect of this dojo. However, I do not advise, as a newcomer to the art of the katana, to go and rush into battles with snowmen. Snowmen, did you say?
Well, they're people. They're made of snow.
Is this a normal occurrence? DM question?
No, that would be the first time you hear of it.
Okay. I'll just process that later, and she'll just kind of, take what she got on her. Probably just, push his head and just say, get started on your stretching, and we will continue your training. If you're going to be running around the city doing good, then you may as well be trained for it and properly stretched. Warm up. Let's go.
They start stretching, and the moment they bend down to do a squat, you hear the sound of ice cracking. And the person looks at you, T-shirt looks at you and goes, uh-oh. As snow just erupts of that blue, plague that they had, covers them entirely. The only thing that remains are these two icy blue glowing eyes. The rest is just the misshapen humanoid form of a person made of snow. And it starts to shamble towards you.
I immediately just take a defensive stance and call out to the students, get out of the dojo. Run away, quickly. Tell someone what's happening. There's a snowman.
There's a bit of confusion, and then just everyone runs out in a cloud of dust.
And I would like to lunge forward and go in for the attack.
Alright, they actually would not. They have delayed reactions, which means that the snowman plays last whatever happens.
Cool,
They shamble forward. So what do you do?
Yeah, I'm going in with the katana. I just want to, I guess I would aim for the area where I saw the blue on the chest and try and, slice it almost as if you were, slicing a boil to, let something out.
Mm-hmm.
So, katana roll. Wow, that's a really good roll. I roll an 18.
18, I rolled... now it rolls properly, but 5, 1, and 5. So that's going to be a 10 for me. So you beat me by 8.
So then So 8 times my damage modifier, which is 2, so I do 16 damage.
They don't have 16 hit points. You
Cool.
stab at them, and the form of the snowman just pops like snow. And
Is my student there?
your student is gone.
That's unfortunate. I'll stand there, awkwardly holding my katana, and I'll look to the things that the student, or I'll look to the door because the student left all of the stuff outside, and I'll start moving towards that to try and investigate who they were.
As you rummage through their stuff, you notice that they brought the same duffel bag that they always bring with like the change of clothes, the YUKIMURA KYOKO shirt, the buckin, and you notice a business card for a cafe, the city cafe. And on the reverse is just the time, 2 p.m.
What time is it now?
We'll say around noon.
Okay. I'll stand up, pocket that, and look regretfully at the bags and the person I couldn't save, and then look up at my students, who I assume are standing there, and I'll just say, Snowman has been dealt with. Get in there and continue your stretches.
Hi. And they go back in. Not as fast as they left.
That's fair. And, yeah, I will probably finish my class and around 1:30 p.m. meander my way over to this cafe.
All right.
And probably would bring the stuff with me because for some reason my brain is like, maybe he'll be at the cafe. Maybe he'll want his stuff. I don't know. He exploded in a snowman. I don't know what that means, but you know.
You're bringing the stuff along. We're gonna pan to YUKIMURA again.
So since it's snowing, YUKIMURA, to like first thing, probably immediately went outside and started building snowman.
This is a great idea.
Well, I mean, she doesn't know there's evil snowmen about.
Yeah. You're outside building a snowman.
She's
Tatsu.
probably built like 4 at this point.
No, shoot. Where does YUKIMURA live on the
She
island?
probably, I think she probably lives in like a smallish apartment building. That's probably about like 8 blocks from the beach.
Okay. So you have basically your field of snowmen is on the side of the beach, facing the beach basically, and Tatsu is looking at you, a toque on its head, with like its tiny paws in mittens, holding on to a cup of coffee, and just shaking from cold.
She's totally dressed up each snowman like they're like having a day at the beach, like one with a sun hat and one with like a drink, and like one that's just like laying out, like trying to get a suntan. It's a thing.
Tatsu says, we're gonna have to think about maybe putting out a winter concert in the middle of summer.
Oh.
What do you think?
Yeah, I guess the snow is pretty odd. Do you think it's magic?
Magic. Hope not.
I guess I should try to check, right?
I mean, if you want. You could do me a favor before. I would really appreciate.
What kind of a favor?
I need more coffee.
Do you need money for coffee?
Considering I'm the one paying you, you would think that I would have the funds for coffee, but guess what? I don't.
Oh. She like digs out or in her pockets and like pulls out her purse and like opens it up and turns it upside down and shakes it a few times, and eventually like a few coins fall out. I
Great.
think this is enough, maybe.
And, yeah, put them in my pocket.
She just like tucks it into the vest pocket. Well, why don't you just go with you?
That works.
Yeah, so that way they'll actually be able to see someone over the counter.
Oh, yeah, that's always been a problem.
So let's go. And she just like grabs him and picks him up and like starts just sort of practically skipping off towards the coffee shop.
You're skipping off, and where you were standing a few moments before, there's a few footsteps in the snow, and a figure dressed in black and white, with long silvery hair. You can just see them from like the back as we see Yukimura run away. And they look at the snowman, and they look back at Yukimura skipping away. And even you, Yuki, you would hear, perhaps half in your mind, half on the wind. Good. Good.
Did you say something, Tatsu?
Ah, what? Yeah, it's fucking cold.
Tatsu, you shouldn't swear. It's bad for my image. You're my manager.
I have to play the part of the grumpy manager.
That doesn't mean you can go around swearing. We're in public.
You're right. Should I act like a fox?
Just don't curse.
Yeah, but what am I going to say otherwise?
Gosh darn it.
Alright, gosh darn it. It's cold.
That's much better.
Hey, by the way.
What?
Do you think it'd be a good time to record another Christmas album?
We need to get you coffee first.
My brain's always spinning, thinking
But
things.
you're supposed to help me with magical girl stuff too, not just be my manager.
Oh, yeah, that. Speaking about that, I think you should check out what's happening with the snow, because that's not normal.
You do that thing that I said we should do, and then you said we should get coffee. Okay.
I have the memory of a red fish.
She's probably just used to this at this point and just rolls her eyes. And let's just say she gets to the coffee place and goes in.
You enter the coffee place. Where is City Cafe? It's quieter. There's a few people there trying to chase away the chill with a good cup of coffee or hot cocoa or what have you. The moment you come in, you notice that only one other person in the whole establishment has different colored hair than the rest. The barista has purple hair. And the barista would recognize the tiny fox being carried by none other than teen idol Yukimura KYOKO, who has graced your establishment with her presence. There's a few heads that turn to look at Yuki as she comes in, whispers of, "Oh my God, it's her, it's her."
I'd like one small coffee, please.
Yeah, sure. Any sugar or cream?
Tatsu, how do you take it?
5 sugars.
Right. Okay. 1 second. And she'll go make the coffee, and she'll come back with the after putting 5 sugars in it. Here you go. It'll be whatever amount it is.
Yeah.
I pay.
Tatsu says we should get a table over there and discuss. What'd you think?
Yes, thank you. It was lovely engaging in commerce with you today.
You're welcome. And I just go back to whatever I'm doing. I'm like, it doesn't even faze me that it's YUKIMURA.
And she sits down in the corner. Obligatory. Boy, I love capitalism.
So,
So Tatsu. Yes, Tatsu. What do we do?
I'm thinking there's something fishy.
I'm thinking there's something snowy.
That too. I have a few contacts here and there on the island. I have to keep a network, you see, of people. It's a hard business. It's very complicated. But there's a few people that might be interested in the current situation. I don't know who would want to cause any harm to the island, or the weather for that matter, but there's definitely something wrong.
Should I patrol and try to use my my ability to sense magic?
You know, that's why you're the main protagonist in our little duo, and I'm just the follower that you bought with your XP.
But you're supposed to, like, teach me things.
Oh, I can teach you things. I know a person. I know a guy. And
Okay.
I think that guy has information. He's been going around the city, acting as my eyes a little bit everywhere.
So should we call him and have him come here?
Yeah. His name's Rico. A nice boy. Big fan of yours, too.
Oh. Well, I'm always happy to meet a fan, because fans don't get angry at me.
And Tatsu looks up at a ceiling fan and is like, "Oh, you mean the other fans?"
Yes, I was continuing with the context that you established. And she pulls out a flip phone and opens it and slides it across the table to Tatsu.
He starts pressing the numbers. And KK, the duffel bag rings.
Am I like at the cafe, almost at the cafe?
Probably on your way.
Okay. I imagine I'm just like carrying it over one shoulder and walking in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Probably cursing a fair amount to myself as I walk through the snow. The bag starts ringing and I kind of just... And I drop it on the ground and I start unzipping all of the zippers to try and find whatever's ringing.
The phone itself was in a pocket of his change of clothes.
Ah, okay. So I imagine that probably takes me a while to find.
Mm-hmm.
What's the ringtone?
Oh god.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Yeah, I kind of hold it at arm's distance, and then is there a caller ID or anything?
Yes, it's the little face of a fox, and it says Tatsu, secret.
Is secret in like brackets?
Oh
or
yeah,
does it
secret
look
in
like...
brackets. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll say that.
I was like, is that Tatsu's last name? Yeah. Is it a flip phone? Is it a...
It's a smartphone.
Oh, okay. Well, I attempt to slide it open if it will allow me to do so.
Yeah, there's no protection on it because why would there be?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So I go, hello, this is not the person that you are looking for.
What have you done to him?
I have not... It's a complicated situation. I am currently returning his things to the city cafe because he had an appointment there.
Yes.
He was a student of mine.
It was part of my plan. A student of yours.
Yes.
How would you like to make money?
I have plenty of money, thank you very much. I will bring the things to the city cafe. If you are who he was supposed to meet there, then I will give his things over to you. But until then, I do not need to hear any propositions about multi-level marketing schemes. I have heard enough. Thank you.
Yuki, it seems that there's been a change in our plans.
Did you finally get someone to agree to a multi-level marketing scheme?
Nah. I long for the day this is going to work. I'm sick and tired of being both the top and the bottom of the pyramid. I want to sit on a pile of riches.
Okay, so what's the change of plans?
Someone's gonna bring his stuff. Hopefully we can rifle through his phone and maybe find some info or something. Apparently something happened to Rico and, well, I don't know what's up.
Now?
Huh?
Does it have to do with this now, do you think?
He might have broken an ankle or something. Been at the hospital. Slid and fell. Could be...
Maybe he got covered in snow and died.
You know, bleak doesn't fit your color palette.
Okay. Maybe he got distracted playing in the snow.
That could be a thing. We'll see about that. By the way, Tomomi, Tatsu is loud enough that you can hear anything that he says.
I just
I'm
raise
tired
my
of being both a
eyebrows.
top and a bottom.
Yeah, I just listen quietly, you know, raising an eyebrow every now and again without them seeing it. You're going about my job. And just, okay. Wondering to myself, what the fuck?
KK eventually gets to the city cafe. After a few minutes after your phone call. As you look about the place, there's the barista. There's, in a corner, idle YUKIMURA KYOKO with a fox dressed in a business suit with glasses.
Drinking coffee.
Drinking coffee. A lot of it. And other patrons. Clearly, the difference in colors between the patrons and the barista and YUKIMURA is stark enough to know that the patrons are probably unimportant to the story.
Yeah, and there's a fox sitting there, and there was a fox on the phone, and
Yep.
recognizing both the fox and YUKIMURA, I'm going to come forward and just stand next to the table and drop the duffel bag on the ground and say, Tatsu's secret, I presume?
Voice on the phone?
Yes, do you not know of me?
You're that, rich heiress, aren't you?
One could say so. I more meant legendary swordswoman, but also I stand to inherit the Corcel family, Baksuki family fortune.
Yeah, I think I've seen some of your fights on TV.
Tatsu.
What?
She sort of like leans in and like puts a hand up. You can still hear her talking, even though she's like thinks that you can't. We should probably get her to help, right? If she's really good with a sword.
You're brilliant. Hey, Lady Baksuki. How would you like to make a fortune?
She already has a fortune.
Oh, yeah, right. How would you like to help? We, actually would need help.
First things first, Tatsu's secret. Miss KYOKO, Idol KYOKO, I presume?
Yes, Yukimura Kyoko. Most people don't call me by Kyoko. Yuki is fine.
Yuki, yes. I recognize you from the t-shirt that man with the t-shirt had.
Oh, poor Rico.
Also from your music.
You know my music? Are you a fan?
I am a fan of the sounds that it makes, yes. I
Would you
don't
like me
listen to
sign
much
something?
music.
I think I have some merch around here. And she like digs around her pocket and she like pulls out like a pen, and like the clicky part is like her head, and she holds it out.
Oh, thank you. And she'll take it and then go, oh, to sign something. Here, you take this back and I have...
Oh, no. I'll you take the pen and I'll sign the pen because that's the only merch I have on me.
Oh, excellent. Well, and then I hand it back to you. Please sign this pen.
Thanks. Can I borrow a pen?
I
Sure.
check my pockets and I don't have one. Is there one in the duffel bag?
We'll say yes. There's an identical Yukimura pen in there.
Amazing. I straighten up and I hold it up. And like, Kier is like very, very, very serious and like stiff and formal. And she's just there with the Yuki pen and like adorable little face next to her face. And she says, here you go.
Thank you. And she signs one pen with the other, and then like thinks for a second, and then just signs the other pen and hands both back.
Oh, excellent. This was a good investment. I got at least 100% return. Thank you.
Don't go
And so,
selling
like,
it on eBay.
Yeah, she'll just like do a little thing and like put her hair into a bun with the two Yuki heads sticking out. And she says, you mentioned something about help. What kind of help do you need?
We are investigating this unseasonable snowfall, and we could use someone of your talents to assist.
Interestingly enough, is there an extra chair at this table?
You can take one over there.
She'll just grab one, drag it over, and then spin the chair around, and then do one of those things like she's flicking out a coat before she sits down, but she doesn't have a coat, but she does that anyways. And then she sits down and kind of like leans against the back, and it's just like, I've seen some interesting things with the snow. What do you know about it?
I know it's very odd and unseasonal, and it is probably magic.
Yes, I agree with all of those observations. In fact, I'm sorry to bring you the news, but the man who previously owned this duffel bag and this Yukimura pen and the Yukimura t-shirt that I previously mentioned has unfortunately died after being consumed by the snow and running into my sword, which then led to a flurry. But
You
no
killed
man.
one of my fans?
Unfortunately, it was an unfortunate accident, and I had no choice but to act in self-defense of myself and my students. I am very sorry for your loss, but I hope that me promoting these 2 YUKIMURA pens will suffice to balance out the fan base. Of course, I am an heiress to a fortune, so perhaps it might even tip the scales a little.
It might also be bad if I'm seen publicly endorsing someone that killed one of my fans.
Well, I will understand completely. Again, I apologize for that, but it does leave me with information about the snow that you are investigating, because I witnessed the snow being magical.
But still, he was one of my best fans. It's hardly... A person's whole life is hardly worth just some information.
Tatsu is bawling his eyes out, crying.
He might not be dead. There was no body. Legally, there is no death until there is a body. So,
but
we should continue investigating.
He only put half a down payment on a YUKIMURA body pillow. I'll never get the rest of the money back.
You will make more money.
Oh. This is great. Hey, Yuki. I need to make a phone call.
Okay. And she slowly holds the phone out. Like, she's, like, kind of, like, shaking it. She's, like, not... She wasn't prepared for, like... Oh, hey, one of your fans was murdered.
He takes the phone, hops off the chair, and walks on its hind legs, and just dials something, like a human. And we're just gonna pan over to the phone at the HIKO residence, ringing. Oh, I don't have a song for this one. The phone rings.
Okay, her brother reprogrammed that. She's going to fix it. She had all the sounds set, and she picks it up because it's really annoying and she can't stand it. HIKO residence.
Oh, hi. I need to speak with the resident agent.
Which one?
Would you like to make money?
And she kind of pulls it away, does that dramatic pull it away from her ear and look at it like, why are you being creepy?
Oh, no, I'm in a public place. I don't want people to overhear. And by the way, everyone at the cafe, you can hear him. Tatsu is anything but subtle.
And I feel like there's just this, quick shot of Yuki and KK just awkwardly sitting at the table, not making eye contact.
Yeah, and Tomo looks at Tetsun. I can hear you.
No, you can't.
She goes back to her.
He scoots like a few steps away from the bar, the counter.
Where are you?
City Cafe. I need someone to investigate a matter and also make sure that... And he looks at Yuki. My friend doesn't get hurt.
Standard rates. I'll see you in 20. And she hangs up the phone.
And before we finally have the 4 players in the same room, we are going to take a quick break. We will be back in 5 to 10 minutes. Everyone, take a stretch, get some water, get some food, get some coffee with 5 sugars in it. And if you want to get rich, just let me know. I know a guy. We'll be right back. We're back, everyone. Hello, hello. So, we're gonna come back from break with a shot on a television of a standoff between multiple police cars blocking a street, trying to contain a wave of snowmen just trampling down the street of the city. The reporter talks about it. Luke Vista is on site and is saying that this is horrible and something needs to be done. These snowmen came out of nowhere, and now they are invading our streets, our island. There's also reports of many people going missing. Is it all the fault of an rogue Oni? Are the Oni back? Is this some sort of consequence to a nasty spell? Stay tuned. Right after these advertisements, and as it goes to an ad break, the camera would pan out. And you notice that this is a TV screen that is inside the cafe, where everyone if you all want to put your token on screen, but everyone is in the cafe right now. MALEIA, KK, Tomomi, Yuki. Yeah, you can put them down a bit or play with them because they're kind of big and I don't have a whole lot of space. But anyway, y'all are there. And, you see that on the news. Everyone is riveted towards the television.
I'll turn towards Yuki and just say, it seems like you might be losing a number of fans.
You're muted.
Yukimura just immediately, hands on table, gets up and says, I have to go.
I'm coming with you.
I just got here. Hi, KK. What's going on?
She just points at the TV and slips past you to try to get to the scene.
Snowmen. Magical snowmen.
Okay.
Tatsu!
I'm not going. I don't have any powers.
You're not gonna at least come? That is disrespectful. Shame on you, Tatsu.
Oh, you don't get to talk to me like that. And he puffs his chest.
I throw a bunch of currency at him that, I just have on me. I'll use my wealth skill if I have to, but I just throw currency at him. I'm like, Tatsu, who's the one that's sitting on the pile of money that you want to be sitting on? We have not been acquainted long, but I think I understand the language you speak. Throws more currency at him.
And MALEIA just MALEIA kind of side turns to Tomo and says, I got 5 that Tatsu's gonna end up coming.
KK,
Yeah.
Can you roll wealth?
Sure.
So 2d6 plus 1 per point of wealth that you have.
2d6, which I would put up here in number of dice to roll.
Plus an extra die per point of wealth that you have.
Oh, so I have 3 wealth, so I would add 3 extra dice?
Yep. So 5 total.
Cool. Okay, cool. 1, 2, 4, 5. I do 5.
5, and he has a 3. So you succeed. So he just jumps down from the table and gathers up all the coins. He's like, you know how to talk to a man. And shoves them in his pocket.
Know how to talk to a fox.
Yeah, a fox. I'm a fox. A
Come
respectable.
on, Tatsu. And I turn. And I get ready to follow Yuki, because I am now Yuki's biggest fan.
Oh,
Tatsu looks
other
up
one.
at the barista and sees your veins and goes, "Hunter."
Yeah.
I can look after the store for you if you want.
No. Go so I can lock up.
These campers.
Once everybody's gone, I'll like take my cafe vest off and all that. Grab my hoodie and then I'll take off. I'll lock up and put the clothesline.
Malea's kind of like waits for you at the door and kind of continues on. She's dressed a little bit differently, a more formal hakama and yukata in black and white with red cherry blossoms on the side sleeves, and she's very like, somebody called her, she got here, we're leaving. She's slightly confused. She's seen KK. It's like their families know each other because they're both, you know, of certain status on the island, but she's not sure what's going on, but she's just gonna go with it. And you see that she's got a sword in a sheath that looks like a katana at her side.
All four of you make your way to a scene of carnage. Cars have been turned over, covered in snow. Ice clinging to the building. Some people are stuck in blocks of ice. And this army of snowmen marches forth. As people are running away, you would notice behind the army a figure. We should put ourselves on the streets. Whoop, that's not gonna work. Come on, get over here. Without that music. The army of snowmen approaches the four of you. And in back of them, you would notice this figure being held aloft. I don't know where to put her. Rin,
Put
move.
her in the middle of put her in the middle of the alleyway, so we can put it around the front, and we can put ourselves in the front, and we can put ourselves in front on top of her.
Like that.
Yeah.
She's laughing and telling her snowmen to go forth and bring back everything that I need. And she sees the four of you approach and says, "Oh, more fodder for the army. I'd be mindful of where I stepped if I were you, girls." And she snaps her finger, and around the four of you, like a ring of snowmen emerges from the snow on the street. What do you all do?
YUKIMURA touches her gemstone like clasp and pulls a long sword out of it. And then she begins her transformation sequence, which I don't want to like play out right now.
All right. As is the norm, time stops during that transformation sequence. What do you look like after, though?
Well, the transformation sequence ends with like her clothes like glow and shift and stuff, and then like sort of like a bunch of snow like explodes off of her, and she's wearing like more of like a, it's not really like it's sort of like halfway between like a Sailor Moon outfit and like a modern idol outfit. You know, skirt, vest, shirt stuff, like a lot of frills.
Mm-hmm.
And she, like, her sword probably like gets a bit longer and has some like, it's like it has like snow particle effects around it.
Okay. What about the other? Since the snowmen anyway need to act last, what about the three other of you?
Seeing my idol go into combat, KK will pull out her katana and sort of like hold it over her head, and as the sun glints and catches the blade, there's this like prismatic light that just like envelops the whole area. And should I do a magical? I have a transformation sequence if you want it.
Go ahead if you want to.
All right, so the rainbow light just like suffuses everything, and then she like whips it around again. And as she whips it around, she does like a backflip with like the straight leg kicking back kind of thing. As she flips over and lands, you just get like a close up of her foot as like this black leather ribbon starts to work its way up her leg and up her other leg and turns into like high waisted black leather pants. And then everything just sort of like bursts in like a radiant sunlight. And as that fades, you see it's like a very high collar, ruffled white shirt with like the big like lawyer looking puffs that go down the middle, and she just has her katana like still in the same pose, and then she like whips it down to you see that like straight arm with the katana again going down, and she just stands there ready.
Nice.
Wait, what? You're magic too?
We are all magic.
I think Malea kind of like not side eyes, but just kind of slightly sighs. It's like another day, another I have to do this again. And she pulls the sword out in a movement. But unlike KK's katana, the blade on Malea's sword is reversed. She has a sakabatu, not a katana. And you see, like, as she pulls the blade, the light from the blade just slowly starts to envelop her. And as it spins into a perfect defense motion in one hand, the light flashes, and her hair is now very stylized in a Meiji era high ponytail for a samurai. The yukata is red and black and slightly and more masculine, but she's still it's a guy's hakama and yukata and versus her, and she's still standing there, and she's like, all right, and kind of cracks her neck. So we just got to kill her then, and just waits to see what happens next.
And all the snowmen.
Tomomi just side eyes, takes a step over, and just like bites her thumb, pulls out her sword, and she just side eyes the other three like, yeah, I'm good. Go.
How many magical swords are in this city?
At least 4. Now, that's not what we should be counting. To the snowmen! That seems like an anime line, right?
Yeah. The snowman, since y'all did your transformation sequence, got ready and everything, the ring of snowmen around you will try to, not stampede, but to, outnumber you as they pile on, almost climbing on top of one another to get to you first. Mechanically, this will be 1 attack against each of you. So you can roll a number of dice equal to your defense if you want to defend against it. You just have to let me know how. What does it look like? How do you defend against this onslaught of snowmen? You can, however, that's a special move in combat. You can also decide, instead of defending, that you want to counterattack. Which means that you would act your turn right away. But if you fail, they're gonna deal basically what would be a crit. Max damage. Or max for what they've rolled anyway. So if they rolled like crap, well, you're still safe. So I would like to know, we'll start with Tomomi. Do you defend or do you counterattack?
I'm going to counter.
Okay. So roll the attack and let me know how does it look like.
Okay. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Ah, shit. Sorry. Okay. So I have 2 3s. That would equal 6, so I'd go with that.
Oh, sorry. And I have a 4, so you would beat me by 2. So 2 times your DX.
Okay, so that'd be 2 times 3, so 6.
So 6 damage on the first one. On a part of them, anyway. And because it's continuing, it would deal an extra, well, a quarter, so that would be like another point of damage the turn after.
Yeah.
KK, how do you defend against this onslaught of snowmen?
I am also gonna go for a counter attack.
Okay.
So I roll to attack also?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
I have a 6.
I also have a 6.
So the tie goes to you.
Yay!
But since it's a tie, that would still be 0. You don't get hit, but you don't do anything either. What does that look like?
So I think that as the snowmen are coming in all, shambly and cold and whatnot, KK's gonna go like super fast, like duck out of the way and try and bring the katana around and like cut through the snowman's head. But maybe as she's like trying to dodge at the same time, her foot slips on the ground, and so instead of cutting off the head, it just sort of slices down the back, being very useless.
Well, you still didn't get pummeled.
That is true for a crit, so also good.
Yeah. Yuki.
Yukimura will try to just like leap out of the fray and to evade because she wants to go for that boss lady.
Okay. So that would be just a defense roll. So you would roll a number of dice equal to your defense.
Defense is 3. Does my evasion play into it at all?
Evasion should have been already counted in it. Let me check. Because normally it's 2. 2
Okay,
plus
yeah.
1 evasion, that's 3. Yeah.
Okay, and does my magical sword's defensive attribute add as well? Has +1 defensive.
Yes, if you have the sword out, yes. Then you would add an extra die to it.
And just to be extra safe, I'm going to use my lucky dice.
Okay. So you have to beat a 6.
Huh, I tried to roll it, only rolled 3. but
Yeah, I don't know why. The sheet sometimes bugs out and doesn't roll like the actual number of dice.
Roll 2 more.
Oh my god. So that's an 18. What does it look like as you dodge out of the way of this pylon of snowmen?
It's like they all go to like tackle me, like it's the Matrix, but
Mhm.
she just bursts out from between them and soars through the air and sort of does like a spinning backflip and twists and has her sword like sheathed and is angling herself to soar right at the lady.
All right. So that'll be, since you did not counterattack, you will get to play during your turn. What about MALEIA?
Malaya is also gonna go for that evasion, but while Yukimura goes high, she kind of speed. It's all about speed for her and how fast she can move. And so for her, she's just gonna dodge in between and try and break the circle of snowmen and get to that personage that's being creepy and, doing that evil villain laugh on the other side. She's assuming.
Oh yeah.
And I has a special evasion because she's even faster with the sword out. So that's a 6. Yeah.
That's a 6, and I have a 6. So that ties go to player. You dodge out of the way as you slide to the side. Now that would be the player's turn. Tomomi and KK you've already played during the counterattack. So that would be Yuki and MALEIA's turn.
She would, as she kind of finishes the slide up, it's that kind of anime slide, sort of on your knees, then comes back up. And in the same motion, she pulls the katana out and does an upward strike through icy lady over there. Gonna just kind of cut from underneath, expecting Yuki to come down from on top, because that's where she went. So I'm going to roll so I roll this one, the weapon, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That roll correctly? Yes, it did. That is a 12.
All right. She's going to put up a barrier of ice to block you. Wow, that didn't work. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
It was supposed to be
So-
6 dice total.
Okay,
So I'll remove the last 5th die, but that would be a 10 for her.
So I get through
Yeah.
with 12. Now here's a question. It has stun. It also has a stun property, which
Yes.
um,
Stun. I have it here. Barrier Buster. Wait, where is it? Stun, 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 stun. I thought I had the page.
well, I have it here. I don't know what the effect is, but I know what mine does.
Stunning. There we go. It needs to inflict at least a quarter of their health and damage in one shot.
Or if I choose, I can stun automatically foregoing damage at all.
Yes.
So
So what do you choose?
I think right now I've got 10 damage on that, based on what I understand.
Yeah.
Right? 12 versus her 10. So 2 times 5 is 10. So I'll go with the 10 damage
All right.
and see what happens.
Her barrier that she had up. Like I said, we're learning the game, so there's a bit of looking through everything. You may burn endurance to buy off damage on a 1-for-1 basis. So you're going to go through the ice barrier. You slash as she puts the barrier up. There's like a sheet of ice that appears, and you just slice through it. It breaks in shards, in multiple shards, and she is surprised. Like, her eyes go wide, and she's like, "No, I'm invincible."
You're monologuing.
Yuki.
Yeah, as Yuki comes down, she probably like springs off of like some building walls, and as she advances, like a sheath of ice formed around her sword, and she kicks off one wall into like a really fast spin, which she uses the momentum of to like draw her sword so fast that the ice sheath just explodes as the sword goes right towards this lady.
All right.
Let's see if I actually hit. That's an 8.
8.
And does accurate 1 add anything more? Or is that it?
It's already in it.
Okay. Just double checking.
Yeah, it's just, I added, basically, like, to make sure that if you level up your accurate or whatever, like, we know that this was accurate 1 as it was. She's gonna try to put forth another barrier, this time above her head as you come down. Well, that's 4. I'll do it like that instead. So that's an 8 for her.
It's a tie. That's
So
DX5 plus... Or I multiplied that by what?
by 0, because you got it by 0, like a margin of 0. So you didn't fail, but you didn't get through her barrier. Well, actually, you got through the barrier, but you didn't deal any damage to her. You just burned her endurance that she needs to protect.
Yeah, I imagine just like I explode that barrier and like there's like a second where I'm like face to face with her.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, Yukimura just growls, "What are you doing? You're not supposed to be here."
This place is my new home, my new palace, and you're just little ants in my way. And she spins her hand up above her head, because it is her turn. She's going to invoke a blizzard. It's an area big enough that can fit it can fit 15 people in it. Yeah, by the way, for your attacks and everything, you would see when you roll, like, endurance, how much it costs as endurance. If the attack had a cost in endurance. And that, when you level up, you can reduce that cost down to 0 at some point. So she's gonna burn 30 points of endurance as she casts this thing. It is overwhelming, which means it does a thing. I think it means that you cannot defend against it. Overwhelming. It's many strikes. Okay. You need... So, Yukimura and MALEIA, you would need to give up your next turn if you wish to defend against it. As this blizzard of ice shards begin to strike at you from every direction. Do you give up your next turn in order to roll defense?
But you could you still roll counterattack?
You could counter through it if you wanted to, but the thing is, basically, if you decide not to defend and take it... oh, no, wait. Let me just check. No, actually, it's just a defense roll. You cannot counter against overwhelming.
Okay. So you cannot counter, and if we choose to defend, you can't attack.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
So what do you decide? Are you going to defend, or are you going to take the blow, hoping to attack on your turn?
Going to evade the attack. Seem like she's gonna try and move through, dodging between the ice shards, and possibly repositioning herself as she does so, using evasion, so that maybe not this round, but next round she'll be in a better position to get from behind and try and strike at her head.
All right.
Those headshots.
And
always.
Yuki?
Yuki's gonna take it.
All right. So roll for defense, MALEIA. You would need to beat a 5.
I have a 6.
So you do not take any damage. But because you had to reposition, you basically lost your other turn. And Yuki, you take 5 points of damage as you're hit from all sides by these shards. And then she, because she has an extra action, within the blizzard, turns invisible.
What does open to attack on her blizzard mean?
Ooh, good question. She cannot make any defense rolls until her next turn.
Okay.
So if you manage to find her while she's invisible, she cannot defend.
Alright.
But that would be, right now, Tomomi, KK, and then Yuki. Because the snowman... Oh, yeah, I forgot the snowman. Hey, Tomomi and KK. Do you defend against the onslaught of snowmen that are surrounding you, or do you counter?
I will defend.
Alright.
I'll counter.
Okay. So I'll do defend against KK. That would be a 4.
Okay, and so I roll, because my defense is 3, I roll
3 dice.
3 dice. Sweet. That is a 5 for me.
So you succeed. You take nothing as you defend yourself from the onslaught of coming snowmen. Some of them actually like take parts of themselves, pack them into like very tightly packed snow, and try to throw it at you, pelt you with a mix of snow and ice. Tomomi, you said you wanted to counter. That would be a 6 for me.
I got a 6 too.
You got an 8.
Oh, thanks.
So, since you have more than them, the difference, the 2-point difference, is damage you're going to deal to them. So, that would be 6 points. How do you get rid of the snowman?
Because I figured they're like coming towards her. So she'll do like a series of moves, sword moves all together. It looks a bit like a dance, but she'll like slice through one, and then she'll continue her spin and slice through another, and then she just continuously just keeps moving so that the sword just flies around her.
That was their turn. So now it is Kier and Yukimura's turn.
Alright. So, I'm in the middle of a fight with these snowmen, and then I realize that MALEIA and Yuki are going after the lady, and keeping an eye on them, I realize the lady has disappeared. Can I, remind me if this is how this works, use Sixth Sense to find the lady in the blizzard? I don't know what my Sixth Sense is for.
No, but your sixth sense, I think, was to detect emotions.
Oh, could I detect her by her emotions?
You could. So you roll a number of dice equal to 2 plus your sixth sense bonus.
Cool. So that's 3 for me. Oh, nice. I got 12.
Okay, and she has 3 for invisibility. She's got
Aw.
12. Tie goes to player.
Wait, I win. Yes.
So yes, she is currently flying up, overlooking the battlefield.
Cool.
You sense a lot of arrogance coming from her.
Cool. I kind of knew that already. I'm going to like brace myself now that the snowmen have been defeated. I'm just going to point and call out, "She's up there, above the storm," and start making my way over there, preferably with an epic anime jump.
So you jump up in the air.
Mm-hmm. Like pointing my katana towards where she is.
And you would see, like, through the blizzard, like, this thin outline of the Yukiona.
Mm-hmm.
Yukimura, you're up.
Would that instruction help me sort of pinpoint her?
Oh, it negates... Basically, what it does is it negates her invisibility.
Nice. So yeah, Yukimura, again, like, sheathes her blade and the ice sheath forms around it, and she crouches down and sort of the snow swirls around her a bit before she just explodes straight up in the air right at this Yukiona, and she is going to whip around again with her sword.
All right.
This lady can't defend because she used a blizzard spell.
Yes, so roll.
I'm glad she can't defend because I just got a 5.
So that's 25 on her.
Yep.
How does that look like? How does a hit from Yukimura look like?
25?
5 times 5, 25?
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm out of it.
That's
My
okay.
She, as she's, like, rocketing up through the sky, she kicks off, like, the top of one building to spin again, and there's, like, another explosion of ice. This time when, like, her sword goes and, like, hits the Yukimura, you can see that, like, sort of, like, ice spikes have formed on the blade, and it just sinks right into her, and, after the hit, Yuki, like, sort of twists to get, like, a bit closer to this Yukiona before she falls and says, "No, this city is mine."
She looks at you falling down and she's like, "You were not the one that called me here. The snowmen are defeated. It is now everyone's turn. Since MALEIA didn't get to act last time, we'll start with her and then we'll go back to Tomomi, KK, and Yuki."
So she's falling at the moment?
No, she's flying.
She's flying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yuki is falling. She jumped up, attacked, and then fall back down. And
Okay.
we're in at the same time. Kier is like halfway there, jumping up with her sword pointed at her.
Okay. Because she tried to reposition herself. Maleia's, like, again, it's all about speed and the way she attacks. It's all about the whirlwind. And she bounces, so she sees the sides of the building and she just, like, parkours up the building extremely fast, and then tries to go from the back with the Sakabato in the same cut up and down, as she's been taught to for a very
Cannot
long time.
defend.
Cool. So that's an 18 times 5. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. 4 times 4 is 16. No, 18. 18. I just had to double check the math for a minute. 18 is a 25 18 times 5. I'm sure that's more than a quarter of her health. Am I correct in that statement?
It stuns her mid-flight, and she falls down.
And it ignores 2 levels of armor.
And it does 90 damage.
And 90 damage. You.
And she just kind of cracks her across the back of the head with the Sakabato. And then proceeds to fall artfully down.
So we would see from the street, like probably from the same level as Tomomi, the Yuki owner falls down flat, and then Kier, Yuki, and Malea all land gracefully around her. And she looks up at you. Gonna stop that music for a second. All 4 of you, and he's like, no, this place was to be my palace. The gate called to me. You can't kill me. You won't have the heart.
I mean... and you see Malea just start cursing as she's looking at her, holding the Sakabato in her hand, and she looks at KK and goes... And you just see this look across her face go like, I can't do that right now. You gotta finish this.
I will gladly kill you. I require no heart to do that. And KK will step forward and raise her katana with both hands overhead and just kind of like look back to everyone else and be like,
I mean, we could probably not kill her if she gives us more information. Maybe.
We could maybe not kill you if you give us more information. Maybe.
Do you have any skills at like persuasion or any abilities like that?
I mean, I have this thing called control emotions.
You could definitely try that.
Cool.
Which emotion do you want to instill from her?
Desperation.
Arrogance would play against that. She can't defend, so you succeed.
Oh, yay!
Because she has 3 dice in will and then -3 because of how, like, she's arrogant severe.
Ah, okay. Wow.
So she becomes desperate and curls back into a ball almost and goes like, the gate is open. That is all I know. I've been called on this side by someone. I don't remember. I swear I told you everything. I need a new place to call home, and this island felt perfect. It just needed a little touch of cold.
Where was the gate? Or where is the gate?
Where or who?
Whom?
English is not my first language.
Yeah, you picked a tropical island to put a snow palace on. There are like entire continents dedicated to that thing, honey.
Well, if we maybe aren't going to kill you and you need a new home, what would we do with you? I turn and look questioningly at my new friends.
I mean, she might be able to counteract some of the snow melt on the northern pole. That might be effective.
Hey, you want to live somewhere with snow?
She needs to bring back my fans.
Also that.
What do you mean?
You turned one of my fans into a snowman, and I need him back.
The construct?
I don't know, what happened?
That boy. I saw him through my snowman's eyes. Not a real boy. A puppet.
But he had real money.
Bring back the puppet.
Somewhere Tatsu's ears are just going twit, twit. Fine. And she puts her hand in a fist. And you see, like, you feel cold air just gathering around her hand, and she slams it down on the street. And further away, an ice statue of Riko appears. She says, there. Give it a bit of time for it to melt, and you'll be good to go.
Okay. And until we figure out what to do with you, you can stay with me.
Is that a good idea?
Oh, as she gets out of line, I'll just stab her a little.
She looks at the four of you. You would show me mercy. I wanted to kill you.
Well, if you stop wanting to kill us, then we won't have any more problems, right?
She looks at Kier, scared, shitless.
I will still kill you.
And if she doesn't, I will.
She scoots closer to Yuki. I think I can not kill, not turn to stone, not to ice.
We can get you on a wonderful ship and send you to Antarctica. Yeah, send her to Antarctica.
Or the North Pole. Or the South
the
Pole.
North. Yeah.
Or
the
Canada.
Arctic Circle.
Or Siberia.
Send you Siberia. Arctic Circle.
It'll
Send you
be
to the
cold.
Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
You mean your world is so many places where there's cold?
Yes, and you can leave, and I can have surfing again.
You can leave, but you can't kill people.
I've got my money on the caribou. She ain't gonna last long.
I will. And she puts both hands on the ground and says, I will remove the ice and the snow from this place. And we see a shot of, like, the island covered in snow, and then the snow just fades away. The ice begins to crack and melt. The ships in the harbor begin to move again with the movement of the waves. Seagulls are coming back, because why the hell not? And life.
Somewhere on this, and then somewhere on the far side of the island, you have the shot of this little girl in a red and white aloha dress going into the water to feed a fish with a peanut butter sandwich.
Wait,
yes.
what? And yeah, she gets back up and bows to the four of you. I don't know how to go to these poles, but
Hold on a sec. And like MALEIA takes the sword and sheaths it back in, and you have that reverse transformation back to her normal self in a like hakama and tucked yakuta, sorry, and with black and white with red cherry blossoms on the sleeves, and like pulls the phone out of the dangling sleeve and picks up and just like punches in a couple numbers and you waits for the answer. And like, we have a transport, Arctic Circle, ASAP. And closes it and puts the phone back in her sleeve and goes, you'll have a ride out in about 5 hours.
And she turns to Yuki and says, can I stay with you in the meantime?
Yes, of course. I see no problem with that.
Okay. And she's still, like, the desperation that KK just overwhelmed her with is slowly fading. But there's a lot of conflicting emotions in her. Her own nature of trying to cover everything in snow is very hard for her to fight against. But she's doing her best. And before we end tonight's episode, we would see a shot from atop a building overlooking the scene. And two figures are looking at all of you. Tatsu, just head resting in his paws, and he says, "They did good. I told you we'd find people. We can get the guild back up in no time." And the other voice behind says, "Yeah, I agree. They still need training. I don't think they would have the strength to close a gate at this moment. Do you think that they can do it? Are you willing to risk their lives after all the sacrifices we've been through?" And Tomomi turns around to the figure and says, "You want to talk? I promise you, Zex, everything is going to be all right." And that's where we're going to stop tonight's episode.
If I see a pink limousine, I'm blowing it up. I'm just telling you right now, if a pink limo shows up, it will go up into a giant ball of fire.
Did I say Tomomi? I meant Tatsu. Is Tatsu.
I got confused for a second.
So yeah, this ends our first episode. The events of today, by the way, will have taken place 3 months ago by the time we play again next week.
Ooh.
So, did you have fun?
Yeah. I really like the system. It's super simple, especially combined with Roll20 when you're like, roll this thing, and then it does, and then you're like, oh, super simple math to figure out things. Great.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it.
It plays a lot on, like, you get to describe. There's a lot of description that you need to give as a player, but very little to do mechanically.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
that's the kind I like.
Which is very, very fun. Yeah. Let's go around the table. Tell us who you are, where we can find you on the internet. If you have anything to plug, go right ahead. If you want to plug in links, players, you have access to put links in chat. So let's do the same order we did the intros, and we will begin with Deirdre.
Oh, hey y'all, you know me. I'm at Deirdre on Twitter, Praxorthesmiaphoria, as you see me around on Twitch, and this was so much fun. I love it. I love getting to play magical girls with swords and all of the drama and embracing all of the tropes. Again, Simon, I am warning you, if a pink limousine shows up, it is going up in a giant ball of fire, and I am not going to care.
There won't be a pink limousine.
With an idiot blonde inside and not having to come out ever. As for me, you can find me around and doing fun things. And not tomorrow, Saturday, I'll be back here as I get to run the craziness that is our Black Flag, our Rapscallion campaign. some pirates in the Caribbean and drama and awkward flirting, which is the best. But and then on Wednesday, you can find me over on Tales from the Grim as we are back with Witcher Family of Wraiths. And then but keep track of my Twitter because I always post where I'm going to be, all the fun things I get to do, and all the fun people I get to hang out with. I also published a game in the last week. It's on my itch. You can find it here. I will put it in chat. And you can find it there. It's about food, families, traditions, and the stories we keep alive. So wholesome goodness. But other than that, I'll see you next time.
Kika.
Hey, I'm Kiki. You can find me on Twitter, twitter.com/KikaVO, and here again on Tuesdays for Dragon Age, where I play, or not Dragon Age, Witcher, yes. Witcher, the game that I've actually played, which, anyway, I play a mage in that game who is also friendly and outgoing, so stop on by for that. She's a lot weirder, though. And also, you can find my 2-player game about communication on my itch, which I will just link here. And it's called A Lonely Haunt, in which both players are ghosts, so they can't see or hear each other, and they need to find alternative ways to communicate.
Lily.
Oh, hello. I'm Lily Sparks. I'm the girl with many lives. You can find me live streaming on a lot of different channels, doing a lot of different characters and weird voices. Most notably, I'm DMing on the Gilding Light channel on Sundays. There are 2 parts left in a 4-part arc. That is also a magical girl adventure, but leaning more into the psychedelic, stoner, Rick and Morty, sci-fi, multiverse kind of stuff. So super excited for that. Super excited to be back on Wandering DM, and super excited to make more magic, and all that is great. If you want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and Twitter, Lily Sparks with an X, and my whole streaming schedule is in my Twitter bio.
And Rin.
Hey, I'm Rin at Heaven's Night on Twitter and Burns Through the Rain in the chat. And you can find me here playing a magical girl who doesn't transform yet. Here on we're Thursday, right? Yeah, Thursdays. And on Fridays, I'm on Cyberpunk Red. And oh, fuck, there's a spider. I placed in Cyberpunk Red. And where's my fucking saddle? Sorry. I play Jinx, who loves bikes and guns, and yeah. Okay, that's it.
Okay, I'm Simon at Wandering DM. I think the spider's dead.
I'm sorry.
So I'm Simon at Wandering DM. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you players for coming to play, for agreeing to play in this game. I know it's been a long while since we first started talking about a potential anime game. I am super happy to finally be able to play it with all 4 of you. Thank you everyone who hung out in chat. Thank you for the subs, the donations, the follows. Thank you for the raid. Raiders, unfortunately, we are finishing up our show tonight. Thank you to all of you watching on YouTube. Always greatly appreciated to know that we have fans on the other platform. Thank you to our sponsors, Mage and Press, Found Familiar, Roll20, and our partners, Level Up Dice. Thank you so much for the faith that you put in me and this channel. And you can catch us again here on Saturday for Black Flag, our Rapscallion campaign. Tomorrow there won't be a Cyberpunk. We are starting Season 2 next week. So we'll be back next week for some Cyberpunk. And we will be back, like I said, on Saturday for Rapscallion. And then next Tuesday for The Witcher. And then next Thursday, we are back here, continuing our magical girl story. And what the hell is going on with these gates and these Onis and everything. All right, on that note, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Bye-bye.